This is our regular board meeting for September 23rd. Let's have the invocation if you would stand.
Our Heavenly Father, we approach you tonight to, first of all, thank you for the many blessings you've bestowed upon us, given us health, life, given us the privilege to live in this city, for which we're grateful. We thank you for the freedom that we have to be able to have meetings like this. And when things come up on the agenda, a lot of different opinions, but when it's all said and done, may everyone come to agreement on whatever issue is brought up. Praise be with the mayor and all of the aldermen. We pray that you would just be with our police department, our fire department, medical responders, whatever, Lord. They need your protection as they go about their duties. And we just pray that you would help us to be grateful for the country we live in. We know there's a lot of trouble parts in the world, but we're glad that we can be here tonight and sense of freedom in this place. May thy blessings be upon this meeting. In Jesus' name, amen. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start with our roll call, and I think we've completed that already electronically. All are present this evening, so we have all 7. Commendations, proclamations, awards, and special presentations. We have a couple of proclamations, and I guess I will read those from here, and then we'll stand up and deliver these. We're starting with Public Power Week proclamation. Let's see if I can read this. Whereas we, the citizens of Tullahoma, place high value on local control over community services and therefore have chosen to operate a community-owned, locally controlled, not-for-profit electric utility, and as consumers and owners of our electric utility have a direct say in utility operations and policies, and whereas Tullahoma Utilities Authority provides our homes, businesses, and local government agencies with reliable, efficient, and cost-effective electricity, employing sound business practices designed to ensure the best possible service at not-for-profit rates, and whereas Tullahoma Utilities Authority is a valuable community asset that contributes substantially to the well-being of local citizens through energy efficiency, customer service, community support, economic development, and safety awareness, and whereas Tullahoma Utilities Authority has also taken on additional stewardship for our community's information infrastructure through a broadband network providing internet, cable, telephone services, expanding community and economic development opportunities, and whereas Tullahoma Utilities Authority is a dependable and trustworthy institution whose local operation provides many consumer protections and continues to make our community a better place in which to live and work, now therefore be it resolved that Tullahoma Utilities Authority will continue to work to bring low-cost, safe, reliable electricity and broadband services to community homes and businesses just as it has since 1948, the year when the electric department was created to serve all the citizens of Tullahoma. And be it further resolved that the week of October 6th through 12th be designated the 38th Annual Public Power Week in order to honor Tullahoma Utilities Authority for its contributions to the community and to make its consumer owners, policymakers, and employees more aware of its contributions to their well-being and how it makes their lives powerful. And be it further resolved that our community joins hands with more than 2,000 other public power systems in the United States in this celebration of public power and recognition that Tullahoma Utilities Authority is good for consumers, businesses, the community, and the nation. TUA will hold their Public Power Week celebration on Thursday, October 3rd from 3 until 5:30 p.m. and welcome everyone to join the event. So, Alan, you can
Mayor, Aldermen, there's not much I can add to that proclamation. I told all about TUA, but I would take this time to give a special thanks to the city administrator and Parks and Rec. A couple of weeks ago, we put on movie night with their assistants. We had a great turnout. We think over 150 people from that community showed up, so we're really proud about that. And next Thursday, as you mentioned, free pizza, bucket rides, prize wheel. So you're invited, and the community's invited. We look forward to seeing you all. Thank you.
I didn't know about the bucket rides. That sounds like...
We'll get you in first.
And one more proclamation, Fire Prevention Week. Whereas the Tullahoma Fire Department and City of Tullahoma is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our community, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at the greatest risk from fire, and whereas home fires killed more than 2,700 people in the United States in 2022, according to the National Fire Protection Association, and fire departments in the United States responded to 360,000 home fires, and whereas roughly 3 out of 5 fire deaths happen in homes with either no smoke alarms or no working smoke alarms, and whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires almost in half, and whereas smoke alarms sense smoke well before you can, alerting you to danger in the event of a fire, in which you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely, and whereas Tullahoma's residents should install smoke alarms in every sleeping room, outside each separate sleeping area, and on every level of the home, and whereas Tullahoma's residents will make sure their smoke alarms meet the needs of all their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities, and whereas Tullahoma's residents should test smoke alarms at least once a month, and whereas residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire, and whereas Tullahoma's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and public education, and whereas residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes, and whereas the 2024 Fire Prevention Week theme, Smoke Alarms, Make Them Work for You, serves to remind us the importance of having working smoke alarms in the home. Therefore, I, Lynn Sebring, Mayor of the City of Tullahoma, do hereby proclaim October 6th to the 12th, 2024, as Fire Prevention Week throughout the city, and I urge all citizens of Tullahoma to make sure their homes have working smoke alarms and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Tullahoma's Fire Department. Just going to come accept this stuff. We got a home crew. Do I need to come over there? Sure. Somebody could.
Thank you, Mayor. And we do urge all citizens of Tullahoma that if you do not have an alarm in your home, that you can contact the Tullahoma Fire Department, and we'll be more than happy to come install those in your home. Thanks.
It's good to know. So if you don't have one, call the fire department. They'll help you with that.
What happened to the fire pup? He was like 1.5 feet shorter than he used to be.
All right. Comments from citizens. I think we have a couple here. On the list, we have Beth Harrison. If you'd like to come, you have 3 minutes. I already said your name, but give your name and address if you don't mind.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, my name is Beth Harrison. This is my husband, Jeff Harrison, and we live at 300 Westside Heights Drive. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. I'm coming before the board tonight seeking your help ensuring that the children of Tullahoma, especially those in kindergarten through 5th grade, are safe in our community and schools. My goal was to bring this concern before the Tullahoma City School Board, but this will not be possible before their meeting due to the agenda guidelines. While I've met with the principal of my child's school, I do not feel like I'm being heard or taken seriously. On September 12th, 2024, 8-year-old Lionel Cervantes, a non-speaking autistic boy, wandered from Bells Crossing Elementary School in Greenville County, South Carolina, and tragically, his body was later recovered from a pond. 4 days later, on September 16th, 2024, 5-year-old Sadie Harrison, my daughter, a non-speaking autistic girl, wandered from Robert E. Lee Elementary School. She walked into a neighboring house and was returned safely to the school by the concerned homeowner. Thank you, Mrs. Luna. Sadie left the playground unhindered. No one saw her or tried to stop her. The staff at Robert E. Lee could not find her. While they were searching for her, the school received a phone call from the homeowner that a young girl had wandered into their house. The school was able to recover my daughter unharmed, and while this situation rather ended quickly, it doesn't change the fact that my child was missing for nearly 15 minutes. The school was responsible for her, and she was not in their care. The situation could have very easily ended differently with her harm or her death. The City of Tullahoma provides SROs to the schools to protect our children and keep them safe. Yet in this particular situation, the SRO was never alerted to my child being missing. It was 90 minutes passed before he was told of the incident. How can this be? An SRO is the student's best chance for a positive outcome in this situation, and the fact that the SRO wasn't contacted immediately is egregious. Sadie doesn't know how to cross the street. She doesn't know how to swim if she were to have fallen into one of the many neighborhood pools. She cannot answer a simple question like, "What is your name?" And she doesn't understand stranger danger. She's one of the higher functioning children in her special education class. Every night since Sadie was lost on the school playground, I replay countless scenarios in my mind, worrying about my children's safety while they are in the care of Tullahoma City Schools. I'd like to take a moment and consider the what ifs. What if Sadie had wandered into a pool and drowned? What if she'd walked out to Kings Lane into traffic? What if she'd been approached by a stranger who wanted to do her harm? What if no one had been home in that house and they didn't call the school and she was gone for hours or days? I share these incidents to underscore the urgent need for safety measures around our school playgrounds, particularly for the most vulnerable children. Sadie is not the first child to elope from the playground at Robert E. Lee, and unless we act, she won't be the last. Please let me say that again. Children have wandered away from this playground before, and no systematic change has taken place. While there have been tweaks made to policies and reassurances that safety is our #1 concern, this remains a problem, and the time for talking is over. As a former member of the Tullahoma City School Board, I have raised this exact issue of elopement and fencing before. I've urged the board to consider 360-degree fencing around our elementary school playgrounds, especially at Robert E. Lee and East Lincoln Elementary, as they have the highest population of young special education students. And despite my concerns and those shared by other parents of special education students, the board chose to gamble with their child's safety. They have failed to act. My daughter Sadie has a medical and an educational disability and is protected under the federal IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, and it guarantees her a free, appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment. And she is just one of many children who our city schools serve under IDEA. Fencing would help her and other children access the outside in the safest, least restrictive way possible. Without fencing, Tullahoma City Schools may be non-compliant with IDEA. School administrators and personnel are responsible for creating a safe environment for all of our students. And when they fail to do so, they neglect their duty to protect our children, especially those on the autism spectrum who may not fully understand the risks of wandering away. A 2008 study found that children with autism face a mortality risk nearly double that of the general population, and that is largely due to elopement tragedies. This confirms what many parents already know: wandering is common, it is dangerous, it causes immense stress for families. Imagine the peace of mind that secure playgrounds would provide to parents who can rest assured that their children can play safely, and to teachers as well, because as we know, teachers are magic. They create nurturing spaces where children can learn and grow, but how can they work their magic if they are constantly worried about a child wandering off? How can a teacher stop to tie a shoe or give a pat on the back or break up a fight if they cannot take their eyes off my child and the 15 other elopers who are in her class? How can they work their magic without the proper tools to get the job done effectively? At the time of Sadie's elopement, please hear this, There were 16 children on the playground and 10 adults. With ratios like that, you would think staff supervision would be enough to protect her, but this incident has proven that a physical barrier is necessary. Without a fence, how can we have any peace of mind to send our daughter to school every day for the next 6 years while she's at Robert E. Lee Elementary School? Every day. We must ensure that incidents like this do not happen again. By investing in fencing, we can prevent future tragedies and demonstrate our commitment to the safety and well-being of all of our students, especially those with disabilities. This simple step can transform our playgrounds into joyful, inclusive places where children can thrive. We are not asking for the impossible, a simple fence to protect our kids. Right now, it seems like no concrete action is going to be taken, and I'm asking you to please be the catalyst, be the change makers. You have the chance to make a positive impact on school safety for all of Tullahoma's children. People will be looking to the leadership of this town and this board if and when something tragic happens to one of our students. So let's work together to ensure that every child can enjoy the magic of play without the shadow of danger. I urge you to influence the Board of Education and support the initiative to install fencing around each of our elementary school playgrounds. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison.
Yes, sir.
Have you talked to the Board of Education?
Yes, sir. I was a member of the Board of Education, and while I served on the board, I made a presentation.
What did they indicate to you?
They indicated to me that it was something they would look into.
They what now?
That it was something they would look into.
Oh,
That was June 6th, 2024, that I made that presentation, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll
Thank
get to the
you.
next one. Crystal Sane? Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, my name is Crystal Sane. I live at 233 Parton Road. I want to take this opportunity to share with you and the community the traumatic event that our family experienced. On June 14th, 2022, my daughter was attending the Summer Learning Loss Program at Robert E. Lee. While at recess, my daughter left the playground and went to a nearby home. The teacher was only made aware of my daughter's absence when she was alerted by another student. The teacher told me that when she got to the home, my daughter was outside the home near the pool and that the homeowner were outside with her. That was all the details anyone could give me, other than that recess that day was roughly 45 minutes. My daughter has autism and at the time, very little communication skills, so we were left with so many unanswered questions. After the incident, we had phone calls and meetings with the school in an effort to get the playground fenced and implement safety measures to prevent this from happening again, ultimately ending with a partial fence from the home on Max Lane where my daughter was found up to the school building. When pleading our case for a fenced playground, we were met with two issues: lack of funding and concern that in the event of a school shooting, it would prevent the students from making it to safety. I would argue that because our school system received over $5 million more under the TISA funding model, which generates funds based on the individual needs of students that make our playgrounds safe, making our playgrounds safe for the very students that generate those extra funds shouldn't be an issue. I agree with the school and believe school shootings are a serious issue. TCS has taken steps to ensure students' safety at all costs in the unfortunate event of a school shooting, where students' lives are at risk. Today, you have heard of two actual events happening where, in a little over 2 years' time, two students' lives were at risk in more than one way. Let it be a call to action so that no other student's life is at risk and no other parents have the traumatic experience we did.
Thank you, Ms. Sane. All right, our next item is approval of the agenda. And just before we do that, we just wanted to make a note. It was brought to my attention on item 3 in the consent agenda, there's actually a bit of a typo there. It says Approve request for special community event signs in public ways and waiver permit fees for South Jackson Performing Arts Center. We believe that should be the Arts Council, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just a little, if we can just make a correction on that for the minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Oh, I'm sorry, I always forgot to look. So yes, we have a motion by Glick. You'd think, I've been doing this electronically for 3 years at the county commission, you'd think I'd know to look, but, so we have motion from Alderman Glick and Alderman Mathis. Is there any discussion? If not, let's vote. And passes 7-0. Department reports. Do we have any? Oh, is that just the list underneath? I'm sorry. Reports from the Alderman. We'll start on this side again like I do today.
Okay, thank you.
I need to start going random.
I have no comment.
Okay.
Okay, I'd just like to remind everybody that the 41A Music Festival is this weekend, Friday and Saturday night. And on Friday night, the headliner act is going to be Boogie Nights, and on Saturday night, it's the Spasmatics. So it's there's a lot of other band playing. I don't know what kind of music they play. Boogie Nights is kind of self-explanatory, I guess. But anyway, the Highland Rim Kiwanis Club puts this large community event on. I think it's one of the best community events we have. So if everybody would go down and check it out, it's in downtown Tullahoma. And it's a true family event. It's not just the music, that's just part of it, a big part. But they also have a kid zone with bounce houses and face painting and all the stuff, so it is a true family event. And also, this you would think that that's enough that the Highland Rim Kiwanis is doing for the city by putting this big event on. But it's really, they're putting it on as a fundraiser because their key point is to have charity for kids. So this is their main fundraiser for the year. So if you go there, you'll probably see some donation boxes around. Walk in and put some money in the donation box. It helps out. The Kiwanis Club theme is for to improve the world, one community and one child at a time. So those donations will go to local children charities.
I attended the Sports Council this past week. They have a lot of nice projects going on, especially out at the softball complex, and it is really, they are well prepared and they do a great job with what they do. I was very impressed with them, and we had a good attendance, and Mr. Bratcher does a great job. So it went well.
Alderman McGee.
Okay, on 9/11, I had the privilege and the honor of singing at the Candlelight Visual in memory of Brody Minor. That was beautiful. Those kids just holding up the candles. It was just, I don't know, you can just sort of feel his presence among the kids there on the football field. On 9/12, I contacted and met with the directors of the different boards that I've been assigned to, and I'm looking forward to working with each board. I attended my first planning commission meeting on the 16th, and on the 19th, I attended my first Tullahoma Housing Authority meeting. And on Thursday night, I will be speaking at the We Care Committee annual outreach that they do at Jefferson Street Park. I will be speaking on the importance of voting and expungements, and that starts at 6 p.m. And again, it will be held at the Jefferson Street Park. And tomorrow night, I will be attending my first school board meeting.
Alderman Wilson.
Thanks, Mayor. Earlier today, I saw on the City of Tullahoma Facebook site a really nice graphic for our city's recycling program. And I would like to just take the time to remind everyone about our city's curbside recycling program. If you didn't know, our city actually picks up recycling right from the curb, and it comes, you just would put it out with your trash the same day that your trash is picked up. And they take paper, cardboard, metals, plastics. So I just hope that everybody can make an effort to do that. You can put it out in your own containers. Also, you can pick up some containers at Public Works. And if you've never been over there, the address for that is 942 Maplewood Avenue. And then if you want to get the list, you can either visit City of Tullahoma Facebook site, or go to the City of Tullahoma website, go to the services tab on down to the recycling tab, and there's a really great list there that you can print off and hang on your refrigerator. And then I would like to just give a shout out to a few events that will be taking place before our next meeting. One is something that's a really great event we have every year for the past 4 years, I think. The Tullahoma Police Department's 4th annual National Night Out. That will be coming up on Tuesday, October 1st from 5 to 7:30 at the Fraser McEwen Park. And if you've never attended one of those, it's really neat. You can meet our first responders and get an up-close look at the emergency response vehicles, and it's pretty hands-on, so I think it's pretty cool. Food, drinks, lots of kid-friendly activities. They'll also be having blood assurance will be there for a blood drive as well. So I hope everybody can attend that. And then coming up Friday, October 11th at 7 p.m., the Parks and Rec Rock Creek Concert Series is returning with a 3-hour show from Nashville's premier 80s tribute band, Bueller. And that's a free event to attend. Just make sure that you bring lawn chairs, blankets, and then it's just enjoy this 80s rock band. It's really nice. That's all I have. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Alderman Byrd.
Thank you. On September 11th, I was able to attend the Patriot Day commemoration at Fire Station 1. It was a very powerful moment to be a part of. And then later that evening, I was also at Brody Miner's Candlelight Vigil, and it was that was a very powerful moment too, and it was really showed how united our community can be. Then I was able to meet with several directors of various city departments that I could get to know them a little more one-on-one and to help identify the unique needs of their departments. I attended a airport authority meeting, which was incredible. I didn't realize exactly how big our airport was until we drove around. That is a massive facility. And I would like to bring up that the Beechcraft Museum is having their beach party October 17th through 19th. You can see the museum website for ticket information. Expect a lot of extra air traffic those 3 days. I think it was over 100 planes flew in last year is what they said. Then meeting with the Arts Council, they are finalizing the lists of artists and locations for the Arts Crawl, which will be October 15th, 5 to 8 p.m. The South Jackson Performing Arts Center will also be hosting a piano concert by Jason Coleman, who is the grandson of Floyd Kramer, on September 29th. And then they will also have Oktoberfest, October 12th from 12 to 8 p.m. And then to bring up what has already been brought up, the 41A Fest is this weekend. Very excited about that. I think it's going to be a great weekend as long as the rain holds off. And also the police department's National Night Out. That is something that I'm looking forward to also. That's all I have.
Thank you. For the mayor's report, I'll keep it short because mostly I've been to things everyone else has already mentioned, but yeah, I did attend the 911 ceremony that morning. Appreciate the fire department putting that on, and Brody Miner's Candlelight Vigil, a very moving and appropriate thing. And then Planning Commission meeting last week was pretty simple, I thought. We had just a few plats to approve on some small subdivisions, and then also attended the Housing Authority Board, and I was encouraged by that. meeting that some things are progressing there. So appreciate everyone's participation in all those meetings. And I guess that brings us up to report from the city attorney. Mr. Worsham.
I don't have a lot to report tonight. I've been working with Mr. Quick on a number of issues, but I'd like y'all to go out and look at the intersection of Riley Creek Road to Boca Road and see the incredible work they're doing out there as part of our drainage projects here. And they have a big retention pond that's already been dug, and a lot of work there that's going to make a lot of difference to people downstream from that Wet River Creek that's out there. Also, if you go out on Ledford Mill Road, you can see the development that Alan Howard is developing out there. There's a number of those very nice looking townhouses that are already built, and it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful addition to our town. Mr. Quick and I are working on some projects, and I'm going to steal his thunder. I'll let him report those to y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Quick.
I don't know about thunder. As I'm sitting here, I'm listening to the Alderman reports. If you think about all the activities that Tullahoma has going on, if you get bored in Tullahoma, you got to be trying, because there's too many things for you to get involved with. And I just want to say, I think it's outstanding for a city our size to be able to have so many events for the community. Kind of like with the mayor, a lot of these I can mark off. I think all of you did receive one of these pamphlets that has been produced by Parks and Rec, and I hope you'll take time to look at that. There's so many things that our Parks and Rec department is offering to every age, every child, every senior, every middle age person. But if you look in there, there's a calendar, there's all sorts of information, and I want to especially thank Josh Cole for putting this together. This is something that I understand we're going to be doing on a monthly basis, continual, and so you'll be getting these and be able to attend as many as you can. But these are also available at our community centers as well, so just want to give a strong plug for that. Speaking of Parks and Rec, the men's adult league basketball is going to have 10 players with 125 players already signed up. They'll begin playing September 23rd. I want to give a special shout out to Butch Taylor and Public Works for their work replacing some of our old worn out signs that have become faded or for whatever reason just aren't as effective. Over the past few weeks, they have replaced over 150 signs that are prismatic. And so Butch had to explain that to me. Basically, it's a way that things can get printed to where from any angle, the high visibility rate is going to be a lot stronger, and so it'll be a lot more effective, especially for some of our safety signs. So I want to say thanks to Butch for all that he's done. You may have noticed that our welcome signs as you enter into the city, they've been all power washed. Lyle Russell, our community engagement officer, has taken that on. We've power washed all of them, and we have installed solar lights so you can see them at night. We're also looking at designing a new insert into that actual brick sign holder. So we're looking at coming up with some ideas just to try to freshen up our approach to welcoming people, community members, and visitors to our town. We also had a downtown association meeting on last Monday, and it was extremely well attended by a lot of our downtown vendors and business owners. We were able to bring in someone from the city of Murfreesboro and talk a little bit about some of the ways that they've been able to create more activity downtown, not only during the week but on the weekends, obviously, and things that we can do. We look for that downtown association to continue to grow with ideas and things of that nature. About three last things here. William Northern Boulevard, we did receive a schedule of when that work will begin on straightening that. It will begin on October 7th. We have a schedule that we'll be putting together a communication piece that we're going to make sure is on all of our social media, will be given to the Tullahoma News, and then also go meet with some of our neighbors that will be greatly impacted out near the airport, Vanderbilt, Enable Comp, Star Therapy, Ascend, and others, to make sure they understand kind of what this project looks like and how long it will take. We have ordered 3 solar-powered speed message boards for Stone Boulevard. Those are the ones that you have seen maybe on Cedar Lane and others that will post the speed limit, LED lighting with the solar power, and talk about keeping you mindful of your speed as you're going down Stone. We have selected 3 locations we believe will be very advantageous for that. That's going to be our first phase approach to it. We have a strong group of neighbors that keep us updated on how the traffic flows and those kind of things, and we really appreciate that, and so we're going to monitor that going forward. All of you received an email from me regarding a fundraiser for Shepherd's House. It's going to be held on October 24th, begins at 6 o'clock it's going to be at Trinity Lutheran, back up. That's going to be at Faith Lutheran, I apologize. And they have asked for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to come as the special service. They feel like that your presence there will bring in more fundraising and more people will attend because you're there. And I have encouraged all of you in that email, and our department heads are also going to participate. They just didn't know it until now. But it's a good way for us to be able to help them with what they do on their mission for young women and their children. And as of this afternoon, we have a fire chief that has gotten married in Hawaii. We're very happy and want to congratulate Kenny and Dwana Pearson. In fact, he just sent a picture over just a couple of minutes ago, so we're extremely excited and happy for them. And that's my report.
Thank you.
I had a question or two. On the SRO program that we have, do we have a formal agreement that we have with the school system on that, and that spells out the responsibilities that we have as a city and the SROs and the school? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I'm going to ask Chief Sons if he could address that. He had a meeting with the city school superintendent and I think some of her staff regarding obviously what was spoken about in the comment section. So I think he'd be better to address that.
Yeah, so well, at the end of the day, this is obviously a failure of supervision, so it was a situation that should not have happened. So I requested a meeting with the school staff at Robert E. Lee and Ms. Stevens, and I wanted to look at their elopement policy, what was going on. I did make a few tweaks to that where they have to immediately notify the SRO, because it's just unacceptable that an hour and a half goes by and the SRO doesn't even know about this. Situations like that should not happen, and it shouldn't happen again. So I have requested fencing for all the elementary schools. I've requested it since I've worked for Tullahoma. It's just not happened. I don't know if it's a funding thing or if it's a school board thing, but I'm a strong proponent. I think we need fencing there, all the elementary schools. Going forward, if there is any incident on the playground, missing child, any danger, they have to immediately notify the SRO. They will also notify the police department immediately, and then we can get all those resources over to the school. We have to find some way to prevent this from happening again, and we are making the steps to do that, but I hope we can come together with the school board and figure out a way to get this fencing put up.
So you have requested fencing at all elementaries?
In the meeting, yes, I did. They didn't give me a no. They didn't necessarily say no. They wanted to bring some more minds together to see what their thoughts on it were. We've got together with Homeland Security, and we've checked the areas. You can't convince me that we don't need fencing. I'm saying we do need it. I know everybody has the mindset of school shooter, get trapped in the fence, but at the end of the day, I think the bigger threat right here is the kids walking off the playground at elementary age level. So I believe we need fencing. I think that would give everybody a lot more peace of mind, and it'd hopefully prevent this from happening again.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
And this may be Mr. Cook as well, but is there a way that we maybe could get together as a board with the Board of Education and the police and have some sort of study session about how we're going to address this?
Honestly, I think that's an outstanding idea. That would really be up to Mayor Seaborn. I know he has spoken, I think, with Dr. Stevens, and I'm not sure if that's something they discussed or not, but I think that would be appropriate.
Because,
we have not discussed that yet, but we can certainly have that discussion.
As a board, we're all elected to represent our constituents, and, they're here telling us there's a problem. And I think that we need to meet to decide what the problems are and how we're going to address those.
Yeah, and let me just make one comment, and we're kind of adding an agenda item here, but we do have to be cognizant of the school board's legal authority versus the city's legal authority, but there's certainly nothing to stop us from having a discussion together and hopefully persuading each other, right? So we can sort all that kind of discussion out in a joint meeting. And Chief, I'd like to come chat with you sometime about it too. I just haven't had a chance to do that yet. So
I don't think we do have a legal authority to try to safeguard our citizens in this town, but I wouldn't want to step on anyone's toes. That is, the schools are their purview, but it would be good for us to put in our request with them, whether we do it in a meeting or if we voted on a thing and we signed a letter from you or something telling them our feelings on it, or Cernovia, I guess you are our board liaison, maybe she could take that
There's
message,
multiple ways.
or multiple ways, but definitely I don't think that it's the right thing to do to say we're the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, they're the school, we'll pass it off on them. I think it's all our responsibilities.
yeah, I'm not arguing that. I'm just making the point that there are legal limits to what we can do in regard to the school's property.
Yeah, and again, I was just giving my suggestion.
Understand,
So,
Let me ask one question on this. Are you implying that we need to fence the whole campus or just an area that designated for play?
I would say the area designated for the playground, especially Robert E. Lee and East Lincoln, just the area and how close it is to the road. It's a need. And that's my suggestion. I realize it is up to the school board, but that's my 2 cents.
We'll follow up on it.
Yep.
And I would agree with that, especially if you've never been over to those 2 schools. I mean, they abut multiple neighborhoods, roads. I could see that there would be a need for fencing there.
Yeah, thank you.
I do plan on bringing this up Thursday when I attend the meeting, and I will give everyone, I'll send out an email to keep everybody updated.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. The meeting.
All right. All right, let's move on to the consent agenda vote. Do a motion? Motion and a second from Alderman Glick and Mathis. Any discussion? Shouldn't be for consent agenda. All in favor? Let's vote. Motion carries 7-0. New business. I believe this was in response to some of the comments we heard in last meeting. Ordinance number 1639. An ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances for the City of Tullahoma, Tennessee, Title 10 Animal Control, Chapter 2 Dogs, Rabies Control, Section 10-212 Vicious Dogs, for passage on the first of 2 readings. And we've got a pretty good amendment, looks like, in your packet. Somebody going to give us a report on this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. After we had the neighbor come and explain what had happened with his dog, and we'd had conversations with various neighbors, but also talking with our police chief and our animal control manager, Cheryl Rhodes, it became very apparent that we needed to go back and look at this ordinance and make sure that it granted the protection needed for the officers, for the those that maybe have been attacked from vicious dogs. So I asked for Chief Sons and Cheryl Rhodes to basically take a look at the ordinance, but then also do a lengthy research on what other ordinances are out there that could be used as examples. And so she did a really good job, I think, of putting that together. And so what we put together in front of you now, everything in red is what is being added to the original ordinance. I have asked Cheryl to make herself available. She's here tonight. Should you have any questions? Cheryl, stand up and let them say hello to you. Yeah.
If you don't mind coming to the podium, because I'm sure there's going to be some discussion on this one. So did you research most of this language?
Yes, sir.
What's the source of it? I'm sure it's probably a couple places.
We've taken a lot of the ordinances. We've gone through and looked through the City of Winchester as well as the Nashville laws and Murfreesboro as well. We've also done research with some fellow members of the ACAP board and as well as the NACA.
Okay. Could you summarize for the public what the basic requirements are here to determine a vicious dog that are new?
Oh, Of course. So we've gone through and we've kind of looked at the changes, and they'll elaborate more on what a vicious dog is. It'll break it down from the beginning thing where it was just one single thing that covered everything on vicious dogs. This will break it down into levels, because not every dog has the same level of viciousness and therefore wouldn't be required to have the same restrictions. So a dog that were vicious towards humans would need to be in the level 3 category, where they had fences of the 9-gauge wire, they have to have it buried down into the ground a certain level, they have to have a roof over it, whereas a dog that perhaps is just menacing towards another animal would be a level 1 dog, and that could be enclosed inside a house, but when they're outside, they have to be on the leash that's controlled by an individual at least 18 years or older. The new ordinances will allow the animal control officers to deem a dog vicious, as well as to hold the vicious dog at the shelter at the owner's expense until that time that their enclosure can meet the new ordinances. And once they're in compliance, then they can have their dog back after having paid the boarding fees that come with us. Mr. Mosley, who had his dog Bruiser attacked, I spoke with him on Saturday. He's read through the ordinance. He said he felt that it helped and achieved everything that he wanted to see that he had brought up that was missing from the ordinance. And I just also want to elaborate that since submitting these ordinances to Chief Sons and Mr. Quick, we've had 2 more vicious dog attacks involving humans. One just Sunday night, but one last Tuesday night involved a 7-year-old girl who required surgery on her foot. And these new ordinance will allow us to take those dogs and hold them until the time of hearing, as well as keep them out of the community. So we're asking that you vote to pass this ordinance on the first reading in order to help keep our community safe.
Mr. Worsham, have you reviewed this?
Yes, I think it's appropriate.
Thank you. Does anyone else have questions besides that? Go ahead, Mr. Tullahoma.
I had a quick question. That's the first question I had it been. What is defined as, it shows penalties in here, and of course it's got all this code, this, that, and the other. In a nutshell, what is the violator subject to?
So if the violator, once the dog is deemed vicious, we would then take that dog. At this point, we're not permitted to do that, but we would take the dog and hold it. The maintenance fees per day at the shelter are $15 a day. This keeps the dog out of the community. It keeps them safe from, or it keeps, I would say, the community safe from this vicious dog. Now, at this point, that's when we go through the levels of restriction, what the owner is responsible for doing to keep their dog contained in their yard. If it's not in their home, if they have their dog outdoors, it shows what levels that they have to keep them in order to keep that dog. If at any point after the dog is deemed vicious, if they are not in compliance with this, especially a level 3 dog, which would be a very dangerous dog towards humans, animal control can then seize that dog. If at that point we would cite them for a vicious dog, they'd go into court, and Judge Conley could order that that dog be destroyed.
Yeah. But this relates to specific codes. I mean, general penalties provision found in whatever that is, 1707. I'm just wondering if there's more teeth. For example, if the person doesn't comply, is there any penalty of jail or anything for that particular person under either one of these 2 codes?
Under the Constitution of Tennessee, municipalities cannot fine more than $50 for any violation, and that's the violation fine for that. However, we can have what they call civil penalties, and those are the penalties this young lady's explaining to you about, how we can treat the dog itself and things of that nature, and other responsibilities that the owners have toward those dogs.
So specifically, these 2 penalties described here, what you're telling me. Okay, that you said. Okay.
So there's no state law or anything that they would be subject to under this at all?
No.
Just municipal?
These dogs that we are in reference to, isn't this the second time they have been attacked?
Are you referring to the dogs that had attacked Mr. Mosley's dog?
Yeah.
This was the first time it had been reported to us, but it had happened 3 times, I believe? 3 times.
3 times?
Yes, sir.
Same dog?
Yes, sir.
Of dogs.
There are, I believe, 3?
5.
Five?
Because we didn't have the
Yeah, Ms. McGee.
Once the dog is returned to the owners, will you all make visits to ensure they stay compliant?
Yes, ma'am. They have
Like
to-
unannounced visits?
Yes,
So-
ma'am. They
okay.
have to register with animal control that they have the vicious dog. They have to have the signing on their fences, and at any point we come in and see that they no longer have the signage, if they don't have the gates up, if the dog is roaming at large, at that point we seize the dog.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I think what this does is this gives the officers more ability to make decisions and not be handicapped by the ordinance before. That's the biggest thing. It's more actionable now for them to make immediate decisions to try to reduce the harm to potential victims.
Any other discussion? So we have a motion, and it's by Alderman Glick, a second by Alderman Wilson. If there's no other discussion, let's vote on first reading. And it's 7 yes. So thank you for your work. Item 24-130, consider request to approve certificate of compliance for Ribbon LLC, Lonnie Patel, Patriot Liquor, 108 West OG Street. Just a procedural question, since I'm new at this. Why is this on the general agenda and not on the beer board agenda?
It's not a beer.
This is a liquor store. It's not a beer.
Okay. I forget about that distinction, yeah.
The state requires this to give them a liquor license.
Educating the mayor, okay. All right. We have a motion and a second. Motion from Glick, second from Alderman Byrd. Does anyone have any discussion on this? If not, we'll vote. Seven yes. So, item 24-131, consider request from the police department to surplus and sell patrol unit number 446, a 2021 Dodge Durango, and I won't read the VIN number. That's too many numbers. It's on the agenda. Any discussion, Chief, you want us to make any comment about this? Is there any need?
Basically, if you remember, there was a pursuit that occurred in Coffee County about 6 weeks ago. We've talked about stop sticks and those kind of things. Unfortunately, the person driving that car ran into one of our newer police cars, and unfortunately, this car has been totaled. Manchester police have requested the ability to purchase it for $2,500 in order to use it for spare parts.
Okay. So we have a motion by Alderman Wilson, second by Alderman McGee. If there's no other discussion, we'll vote. 7 yes on that. I suspect the next item is related to what Mr. Quick just told us. Item 24-132, consider request from the police department to authorize the purchase of 2 2025 Ford Interceptor SUV vehicles and upfitting with emergency equipment from Lonnie Cobb Ford, Henderson, Tennessee, on state contract for a total cost of $113,576. So, any discussion there?
Just real quick, I want to commend again Chief Sons and Deputy Chief Kennedy on locating a dealer that is under state contract that seems to meet our needs rather quickly. As we have over the past couple of months and really almost a year, we've gone through and updated our fleets to make sure that we've surplused the number of vehicles we need to. And so the expectation is for us to be back on a schedule of where we will purchase 4 new police cars every year. And so at the end of the rotation, so that gives us a life of about 8 years. So this is 2 of 4 that we'll be asking for this year. So we wanted to go ahead and get the approval for this one while they're in stock and get those on our lot.
So what's our total number of cars?
I want to say 32.
8 times 4 is 32.
32
okay.
For patrol cars.
Yeah.
32.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve by Alderman Glick and second by Alderman Thoma. And Ms. McGee, did you have a comment?
Yeah, just for clarity, this dealership out of Hendersonville, they have a state contract. You can't just purchase. I guess my question is, did you shop around locally or?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I can promise you, I definitely met with two of our local dealers. Neither one, unfortunately, participate in the state contract.
that's what I wanted to-
As a result, non-contract pricing is a lot higher than contract. We would really appreciate it if one of our local dealers was local. On a similar note, we do have a purchase of a vehicle coming to you probably on the next agenda. Because it is a vehicle that does not meet the state contract, we do expect a local dealer to be providing that quote to us.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? And let's vote. Seven yes. Item number 24-133, consider approval of a Tennessee Highway Safety Grant Award for the Tullahoma Police Department in the amount of $34,400 and authorize the mayor to execute the contract, no local match required. We like those, no local match required. That's good.
That's pretty.
So I have a motion from Alderman Byrd and a second from Alderman Wilson. Is there any discussion on this one? If not, we'll vote. Seven yes. And item 24-134 is a discussion item, request from a citizen to restart recording of study sessions and for recordings to be made available online. Does anyone have any comments to make about that? Ms. Wilson.
Just to be clear, we do actually record the study sessions.
But are they available online?
So the way that the study sessions were set up is the last action on this. There's an audio recording of the study sessions that is made by our city recorder, Lori Ashley. My belief is the intention of the request from the citizen was what had been done previous or prior to that, which would have been actual recording of video recording of those sessions that could be displayed, I guess, on Light 2 as the other meetings have been. So I think that was probably the spirit of the request, is making it a video recording.
So right now we are not releasing those audio recordings on the internet in any way? Okay. That's
the reason we did the audio recording. I think the number one focus was it would be available to our board members if they needed to go back and go through some of what was discussed. I don't think we ever really thought about, is it something we need to release to the public? Now, of course, it could be released to the public, but I think it would be upon request.
Yeah, that's what I think our intention was when we did it, to where they could be available to the public upon request, or any alderman. Or
Alderman Byrd.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up during the discussion, after speaking with some people, the concern I'd heard was that if people couldn't make it to a study session due to a lack of reliable transportation, their job schedule, something like that, that it's easier for citizens to be able to just go online. And then to play devil's advocate to my own part of this, I also understand that not having it recorded does make it so that there are more candid discussions, that it's a more informal atmosphere for it. So I do see both sides of this, that we're kind of stuck in the middle of a decision there. Thank you.
Any other comments right now?
Yeah, sorry if, the reason, I just wanted to highlight the reason why we did it, and you're exactly right. I think it was to have a more candid and open conversation amongst board members about these things. We don't really follow all the rules and having to press your button to speak and all that kind of stuff. And then we also wanted to, we put the tables down in the middle of the boardroom and put them together in a round where we could have a face-to-face discussion with each other, and I don't think that didn't lend itself to being video recorded. They wanted us to sit up here, so there would be some things. I don't have a strong opinion. I would say what I think I needed to say on camera or not on camera, but I think it is a good thing to kind of have a time that we can get together and speak, and it's still in the public setting, and is recorded if anyone needed to see it for posterity, but is not on a live feed or whatever. So
yeah, with this, when I think of a study session, even Congress has closed door opportunities for their people to speak. But obviously, currently, it is recorded, and at request, a person can get it. Correct? Is that it? So it is open to the public.
And they can
All of our meetings are open to the public.
And one thing to add to that also, public comments are accepted at a study session if they are on the item being discussed in that study session. So there's still an opportunity to lend voice to that particular item on the study session.
But virtually, we do not make any decisions at a study session. So it's just an open air, say what you feel type deal.
Usually, in my experience, study sessions are good for learning, and that's my intent usually with one. Ms. Wilson?
And I would like to just clarify that whenever, I don't think that Alderman Glick meant that when we don't follow the rules at those, because clearly we do. We follow all of the rules that are under the guidelines of a study session.
I meant meeting.
I know what you mean, but I just want to make
The
sure.
meeting rules, yeah.
The whole
do follow
purpose of
every
a
rule.
study session is to have a more casual environment, to facilitate discussion, yes.
Thank you, Bobby.
All right, so let's think about that, and we can always come back to that, but I've had multiple people make similar requests to me, so we've been doing it on the county, and I still have mixed emotions about it, even though I've been living with it for 2 years now, so, in any case. All right. No, nothing to vote on there. So any other new business? We don't have any, so that adjourns our regular board meeting, and we'll enter into the beer board meeting. So we open the beer board. No public comments. We don't have any public comments for beer board meeting. Other unfinished business, none. So new business item number 24, BB 48, approved minutes of the September 9th, 2024 regular meeting. So we have a motion to approve from Mathis. Second from Alderman Glick. Any discussion on the minutes from the beer board? If not, let's vote. Alderman Glick.
Oh, sorry.
You're holding us up here,
I
man.
seconded the motion.
7 yes. That concludes the business for the beer board meeting. Are we? Oh, we have one more. Oh, I'm sorry. What did I do? Where's it at? I don't know what I did. I must have moved it. Okay. Item number 24, BB-49, request to approve a beer application and waive fees for the Highland Rim Kiwanis Club for the City of Tullahoma Rock Creek concert on Friday, October 11th, 2024 at Fraser McEwen Park. So we have a motion for Alderman Glick, second from Alderman Wilson. Any discussion on that one? If not, let's vote. And that's 7 yes. And with that, if there's no other new business now, we stand adjourned. Thank you.